just realized too, I put the link to this guide in a chat, just in case you guys want to follow up. But again, it's available through the library homepage under course guides. I can also email the link to Stephanie, and she can also re-email it to you to make sure you'll be able to find it. So no questions about the general resources here. As you can see, the Ask a Librarian, the little red chat pops up on every page. So even if you are not on the library homepage and you're stuck with research, you have questions, you can just always click on that chat button and it will connect you with the person on duty. So I'm going to jump quickly into the guide. So what I have done, because you guys are coming from various subject disciplines, I wasn't really able to pinpoint the resources that will fully match your specific sources that match your subject areas, but I thought I'll just kind of give you a general overview. And as I mentioned, I am one of the librarians in a group of 25. We all have subject specialties, and because you're coming from different backgrounds, it will be, I may not always be the right person to answer your questions, so always feel free to reach out to my colleagues. So what I have done here in this guide, just to provide you general tips on research and searching, and those apply regardless of the subject area you come from. So brainstorming keywords. When you're starting your research, when you're looking for information, you have your topic. So how do you move from the topic and the question to actual research? So sometimes the library databases are a little bit different than your traditional Google searches. In Google, we're accustomed to throwing keywords, and the system, the way the Google system works is that actually behind the scenes is able to sort of understand a little bit better what is it that you're trying to find, and it sort of suggests ideas. Library databases are a little bit more rigid. You actually have to provide keywords in order to be able to find information and resources. So when you are thinking about your topic and trying to think about keywords, make sure you ask yourself some questions. You know, who is involved in this topic? Where is it happening? What is your geographic focus for your research? Is there any special language that people are using when they're talking about your topic? Is there jargon, specific keywords? Think about synonyms. So think about how other people would describe the topic, not just the keywords that come to your mind. So sort of like the who, where, when, and why. This all will help you to sort of understand the topic a little bit better and come up with the keywords ideas. Because when you're doing research, you have to find ways to match how the information is actually indexed in those library-based databases. And sometimes how you think about the topic may be different how other people are thinking about the topic. And I know I mentioned before, like my family is from Poland. I was born and raised in Poland, and I came to Canada. I had to learn English. So I find sometimes looking for keywords can be tricky. Like English is my second language, and I do have to look for synonyms and sometimes learn words that people are using when they're describing certain topic. So don't be afraid to play around with different keywords, try to think about different ways how people are thinking about the topic, and then this way you can sort of explore that way. I mentioned too, so we're moving to search strategies. The library-based databases work a little bit different than traditional Google search engine, where you can just type in everyday language. In library databases, you do actually have to sort of connect the keywords and create these search strategies. So I provided here some examples of Boolean operators. So these are the three keywords: and, or, and not. Part of the reason is, and we encourage researchers to use these strategies, is that there's a lot of content that is covered through library databases. So if your keywords are very basic and very broad, you will find that you actually have a lot of results, and it could be millions. So in order to be specific and save time and find resources that are actually relevant, really try to make sure you are connecting terms. Try to come up with synonyms. You would use and to connect two ideas. So you want to make sure that both your keywords, or 3 keywords or 4 keywords, as many keywords as you need for your topic, will be included in a search strategy, or will allow you to actually combine synonyms. So you want to make sure that this concept and that concept are all coming up through your search. So you're making sure that information is covered that way. And this way, instead of running 10 different separate searches, you can actually put it all together in a one search and try to find information much faster that way. Not is another very handy keyword. As you can see in my examples here, there's the word migration. It's very popular, and a lot of researchers are looking into the issue of migration, but search engines are not smart enough to know that you're talking about human migration. You actually have to tell them, I'm interested in human migration, or not bird. If you do a search migration, a lot of articles that will come up will talk about animals and birds migrating, and this is not what you're looking for. So you have to be, as I said, you have to tell the search engine, this is what I'm looking for, and this is not what I'm looking for. Things like that. Mexico is another example. If you're looking for resources on Mexico, not the city, but the country, it's in order to cut on the amount of results, very easy, you can do that. Using quotation marks around phrase. Here's an example I use for human rights, but you can put in quotations any important phrase that is relevant to your research. It could be 2 words, 3 words, 4 words. Just be careful. Sometimes if you put too many words and your search is too specific, you may run into a block that you won't find much. So you have to be careful. But there are certain keywords and phrases that are very important, like human rights. You could do a search and say human and rights, and you will find a lot of different materials. But if you want to focus your search, make sure you use those quotations. It's also very, very useful, especially if you're looking for information about specific institution, organization, or a group. World Health Organization. If you put that in quotations, you will be narrowing down your searches and be more precise. Truncation is using the little asterisk at the end of the root. So this way you can find different variation of the word. So if you're doing research and topic covers Canada, you can do sometimes article will say Canada. It's like in Canada people do whatever, or it will say Canadians like to do. So in order to make sure you actually pick up on all these variations, you can modify a search that way. So this is just really a few simple search strategies that can really help you navigate through research. As I said, it's more in terms of finding relevant resources a little bit quicker, less to sort through, and narrow down, pinpoint to the right sources. Were you guys familiar with these operators? Have you used them before? Any questions about that? I'm seeing some nods here. No questions.
Hello. Oh,
Yes?
it's fine. It's fine.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. So it's the search strategies are there if you want to review them. So right then, so we got our topic. We've been sort of starting to think about potential keywords. You have now ways to combine the keywords when you're doing a search. So starting your research. As I mentioned, sometimes when you are starting the research, you may know already a lot about the topic, or it could be brand new and you just want to learn more. So there's some resources that are available through the library that I just want to bring to your attention that may help you understand more. That searching through them actually may help you come up with the synonyms and keywords. So we have a database called Search Research Methods. This one, I think it's pretty relevant to you when you're starting the research and you want to learn about either research methodology or how to go about collecting data. So you can actually learn a little bit more about the research methods itself before you actually jump into a project. Maybe you decided that you're going to be doing collecting data, or you're going to be doing interviews, or just even doing a literature review, and you're not too sure about how to start, how to proceed. Research methods can help you get a good understanding how to go about that. And to access this database, you just have to click on the link, and I'm just going to open it. So this is how the page looks like when you're trying to access resources off campus. So this is where your username and login will come to place to be used. So I'm just going to log in quickly to show you, and it will redirect you. So we're in a database. So Sage research methods, and let's say there's like, you can actually try and see they're helping you. So design a research project, listen to research experts. There's a lot of videos actually available through this database. There's ebooks. So there's different ways to access information based on your needs. You can actually narrow it down directly to discipline. So let's say we pick political science and international affairs, since this is sort of my wheelhouse, and then I can sort of learn and figure out different things. Or, as I said, you can just use the search box and say, I'm doing content analysis. And here's a keyword that will come up, and it will give me sources on content analysis. So I can sort of learn a little bit more, okay, how to do content analysis, what it is, content analysis, what are the research methods, and how to go about collecting data. Are there any steps, maybe, especially if you're new to a process, how to do it, and things like that. So I find this database very useful and very handy, and it's good to sort of explore it before you actually even start doing research, to make sure when you're actually doing research, you're not forgetting to check information. Another thing that we have available through the library is information. So I'm just going to show you quickly a guide. We are covering Ottawa, Canada, and also international government information. So again, government information can be very useful and very helpful in learning more about the topic, because depending on your subject area, maybe there are certain policies that are relevant that you want to explore. Maybe government is passing laws that should be included in your research, or you should be aware of it. So again, just looking at government information, looking at policy, legislation, statistics, any sort of information that may help you to learn more about the topic. We also have through the library access to a lot of newspapers and magazines. So again, if you are looking at news to learn if there was something recently that happened that had impact on the topic you're trying to research, or just even stay up to date with current news. We have different databases. We have access to specific newspapers. So feel free to explore. The Canadian Newsstream is a database that covers Canadian news, but we have Factiva and Nexus Uni that cover international content. Also Press Reader that covers a lot of newspapers across the world. The only thing with the Press Reader is probably more to use to stay up to date with day-to-day news. You can actually pick a country, you can pick a language, and see what's available. One thing though with the Press Reader is to make sure you keep in mind that it's only it's very current, so it's only last 90 days that it's covered in it. So you won't be able to really see any historical articles, but current content, stay up to date with news, or just even read for leisure may be useful for you. So we have, as I said, access to government information. We have newspapers. There's actually a whole news guide that I provided a link to, and tips on searching newspaper databases. Moving right along, there is actually, especially when you are exploring different topics, nowadays, there may not be, depending on how current the information is that you're looking for, you may actually find that there's not enough academic content published yet. As you know, publications take time. Sometimes it's from 6 months to 18 months before the article actually gets published. A lot of researchers nowadays, for obvious reasons, are focusing on, like COVID-19 is the best example. People want to really research what had happened this past year. What issues are related to COVID research. in the news, in policy, in government, in any aspect, right? But you will find out that actually there's not much academic written about the COVID yet. However, as you know, think tanks are these specialized institute and research groups that do a lot of research, and that research is not quite considered scholarly, but it is very reputable. Like people that work for think tanks groups are often professors and have education, and their research is very relevant. And the nice thing about it is that it's actually very up to date. You can see reports coming from these think tanks groups on current topics, and there's a lot of good information that you can learn from it. And we have a guide here through the library that covers think tanks, and there is an extensive list of them. So depending on your subject area, if you're into global affairs, if it's economic and environmental issues, you can check that think tank. Many of them allowed and publish their articles, so you can really have access to very up-to-date scholarly content. As you can see here, the list is pretty long. However, if you are not finding a think tanks that would match your search, I'm not sure if you know, but there is this custom Google search engine. So we all use Google, including librarians. But this Google engine looks a little bit different. And this actually focuses just on think tanks. So if I do my search for my topic, and as you can see, to be precise, I can actually put it in quotations. You can see, okay, you can see reports coming from World Bank, you can see something coming from Amnesty International. So you can actually see, okay, what think tanks, what groups are looking at my topic. You can then go directly to their website and explore for more resources. So I find it actually always very helpful and very useful to use that custom search engine for think tanks, because it will cut on all the advertisements that you normally get through Google. It will cut on sort of pages that are a little bit of unknown origin, and you can actually get to the meat of your research. Other databases that we have actually available through the library, and these ones you will have to use your logins, is we have access to the IMF. The World Bank nowadays, actually they shipped and they have like an open knowledge story that anybody can access. We have access to the United Nations e-library, OECD. So I thought these would be places to start your research when you're trying to learn about the topic and see how is it covered on a sort of more global scale. We also have resources that look at specific country. So if there's a country that you are interested in relationship to your research and your topic, that may be useful. So we have several different resources. I'll show you quickly EIU. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with it or used it before, but it's provided actually by the folks that publish The Economist. And what you can do is just type in, I'll just use my example here of Poland, just to kind of show you what's available. So this is starting your research. You may already know a little bit about the country, or you may be totally new to it, right? So you want to kind of get an overview of what's happening. So in summary, you can get like a brief information, basic data, fact sheet, political structure, politics. It will kind of give you a current situation and what it's happening. There's some economic update. There's of course risks, so important to know. Information on regulations. So again, that's all depending on your topic and which direction you're going with your research. But the best place actually to kind of look it all up is go under reports and generate country report. And as you can see, this information is very up to date. If I scroll down to the bottom, as you can see, the report was created today. So very current news, very current information, and it's nicely packaged, and you can sort of get an idea here what's happening currently in Poland. What are the issues? If you're trying to do any comparisons, there's data. There will be some statistics provided. There's forecasts looking forward. So all this information is right there in the report. And the most important thing about this report is that you could probably find this information throughout Google, searching and finding. But here we're providing for you already packaged and assessed information. So you know this is credible content that was already checked out, and you can sort of use it at your discretion. As you can see, there's some data, and you can just check and explore countries of your choice. The other sources basically provide the same information. There may be variation of what's covered. The Global Age is actually a free resource provided by I always forget actually which University of Michigan down in state. So this one actually may be more useful for folks who are in economics and business, because you can actually search not only by country, but you can do a trade block if it's if this is what you need. You can actually look at specific industry and then kind of work your way through industry and then see what countries are involved. There's also economic classification, so emerging markets, mature markets, trading blocks. So you can take, NAFTA, EU, or any other sort of trading block that interests you, and then explore information that way. So again, just different way to focus information, but it's the same idea, just to kind of get more background information, just to learn more about what's happening in a particular country or in a particular trading zone. If you are any of those sources are sort of you think will be relevant, but you're not comfortable, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to guide you through the search process. Any questions about these resources? I think the silence is no questions so far. No, perfect, thank you. I see the chat. So we're just gonna keep on moving through the guide. So here, actually, the next, oh, there's a hand raised. Yes, Theodora, please go ahead.
I just wanted to ask, is it possible for you to share maybe a link to all of these, the ones that you've just discussed?
I just put it in a chat. It's in a chat.
All right.
Yes, oh, maybe you joined later. Let's see.
I will also, I'll send a follow-up email as well with this information. And Theodora, we're recording this as well, so I will make that available to everyone.
All right, thank you.
But as I mentioned before, if you need any help anytime and you want to meet with me one-on-one, we can set up a Zoom call, and then we can just go over those specific resources again. So I'll be more than happy to help. And actually, that brings me to the next section of the guide, which is subject guides and research help. So here, this section is very short, because you can go here, search by subject, and I provide you to the link to all the subject guides that are available through the library. Because I was looking sort of on the website for the scholarship, and I realized that you guys are coming from many different backgrounds. And as I said, I cover political science, international affairs, and European and Russian studies. But I know some of you are in business. So if you click on B and select business, there's detailed guide for sources relevant to business. There's contact information for a business librarian and government information librarian that we have in the library, my colleague Matthew. And these are all clickable fields, so you can click on it and learn more specialized resources. So if you want to company and industry data, there will be links to resources there. I know some of you coming from economics business, there's environmental studies and sciences. So all these, feel free to reach out, click on the guide, explore the resources. If you have any questions, reach out to my colleagues. Here's Susan, who looks after environmental studies. So it's all there for you to explore, depending on the subject that you want to learn more. The last two sections of the guide that I have here are actually, again, just sort of general in nature, just to kind of provide you with some help. I'm not sure if many of you will be doing literature reviews, but basically literature review, even if you're not actually producing specific, the actual document, looking for resources, it is a form of literature review. So I want to make sure that you actually have some, again, tips on how to go about literature review if you're not too sure, if you haven't done one in a long time, and just need help. We actually have a whole library guide devoted to conducting literature review. So what is literature review? That there are different types, steps, research tools, and writing guides for literature review. Again, just if you're not actually, even if you're not really doing literature review, but the process of searching for literature review may be described and helpful through these guides. If you're finding literature and reviews on your topic. So I know some of you are written already thesis, but maybe you're interested to see who else wrote on the topic that you are researching and exploring. So we have actually Curve, the Carleton University Repository, where you can explore thesis and dissertation written by Carleton students. There is a database that covers dissertation and thesis. And here is actually the link to the library search engine on the library homepage. So this kind of brings us where we started. So just very quickly to show you, and I'm not sure if you had a chance to play around with this search engine. So I'm going to do a quick search just to kind of show you like society and climate change as an example. As you can see, I'm connecting the keywords and I put climate change in quotations. So we got, just with these two simple keywords, we got over 600,000 results. So that's a lot to go through. You can spend a whole lifetime of going through these resources and not be able to find what you're looking for. So as I said, this is where you would add keywords. Maybe you're interested in a particular country. So we're just going to add Canada as an example. To narrow down the results. So we're down to 130,000. You see how big of a difference it makes. And then knowing that you are accessing these resources electronically, you may actually want to just narrow it down to show me what's available online. Maybe you just want the articles, book chapters, and ebooks. The other thing too is, as you can see, our date range goes back to 1900s, but maybe for the purpose of your research, you are only interested in last 10 years. Oops, sorry, there it is. Last 10 years, right? You're not interested in a historical per se. And this way, we're down to 97,000. So there's still a long result. And then you can sort of start going through the list and see, okay, what are the topics? What are the resources they're all coming up? Is it relevant? Is it close to what you're thinking it would be? So actually, just for the purpose of this presentation, I'm going to pretend that I don't want to see any books and I don't want to see any book chapters. I just want to see journal articles, just to kind of show you what's available. So here it is. Let's say number one looks like a good choice. So you click on the title. You see the information here. This is where it's the links that you would use to actually access it online. We have multiple database providers. So I click on the link and as you can see, it opens up the article right away. Sometimes you are brought to the page where you have to sort of do a couple more clicks. If you're ever not sure, send me an email too, and I'll be more than happy to double check, make sure that the information actually comes up here. If you keep scrolling down through the record here, there's a short description, so you can actually get a sense if this is is the article really covering what you are hoping to cover. On the side here, it actually provides you links to some other suggested topics and articles that may be relevant and interesting to you. If there is several different articles, what you can do is in order to make sure you don't lose it, there is this little red pin that you can use and mark items. As you can see, they get marked and they go here into what's called my favorites. And when you click on it, you will see the list of all these items that you saved. And then when you mark them, these three little dots become live. And what you can do is actually you can email the results to yourself. And it's very neat because it will not only send you the information about the article and the whole record, but it also includes the link to the full text. So you can go back later on, check your email, and you'll be able to always find that article through the library. I tend to use this feature a lot. I find it helpful when doing research to make sure I don't lose actually my results here. The other thing, let me just kind of narrow down to articles again. Yes.
Sorry, and then of course, people can download the article to keep it a hard copy on their computer.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Soon, like as I showed you in this one here, and we just quickly check. Often, yeah, download PDF is right there, and then you can save it to your computer, and you will always have the copy of it. Just one more thing. So this is sometimes if you're finding a little bit challenging with depending on the topic, surprisingly or not, I get it. I hear from students sometimes. I did all these searches and I can't find anything. Not every topic is actually research. Not every topic is currently research. So you have to play around and try different things. And I just want to bring to your attention that when you are doing searches through Omni, an example will be here, this number 2, potential for evolutionary responses to climate change. As you can see here, I can mark it. I can email it to myself. But you also have these 2 images. One is an arrow pointing down, and this one here is arrow pointing up. And I'm going to get back to that. Not all of them will have that information. Unfortunately, number 3 doesn't have that, but keep that in mind, and I'll talk a little bit more about it in a second. But this is sort of the searches through Omni. One thing I should mention, the way Omni works, this is, you can think of it in terms of library Google search engine. So a lot of databases that we have available through the library will be fed to Omni. So you're kind of doing one search by searching through multiple sources. However, the search is not perfect, as you know, with any sort of technology. And again, you're getting a lot of results. So sometimes students and researchers find it frustrating that it's almost like a Google search engine where you have million results, looking through it, narrowing down. So that's why it may be more useful to actually look at subject-specific databases. So if you go to a guide for business and see what databases are available. So as I said, start with Omni, but then you may want to go to a subject-specific database, and the link is right here. And then depending on your subject, I'm just going to, like, as an example, pick international affairs. You will get a list of subject-specific databases, and then you may want to just go directly into the database and search for your topic that way. So you will click on the link, go back here for the sake of saving time. I'm just going to copy and paste my search strategy. So I went into a database called Worldwide Political Science Abstract, and I'm just going to do the same search I did in the other search. So over there, we ended up with 88,000, and here it's only 56 results. But it doesn't mean they're bad results. They're just more specialized, more focused. So it may be easier for you to start research that way. Some people like to go to Omni to kind of cast the net wide and see what comes up. Others like to start narrow and then kind of like, okay, I found 5 here, but that's not enough. I need to move on and find more. So here, if there's a full text available, like number 1, you can just click on the full text and it will open up the article, and you have option to download, print, email it to yourself. Or if you don't see it, you have to click on the get it. So make sure you follow through the get it, because what get it does, it's try to connect to another place in the library where the article is available, and then you have to just follow through the links. So as I said, start with Omni or go to specific database. Either way, there's not really a clear-cut rule which way is better. It's whatever works for you, whatever works with your topic, and how you are comfortable doing research. The rest of the resources here are just general help about research. So writing, looking for information, and things like that. Any questions about the literature review and searching through Omni? So I'm just going to jump right away to the last section of the guide called Cited reference searching. So this is where, remember I mentioned in Omni, these little arrows. pointing up and pointing down. So I'm not sure if you ever done it before, but what cited reference searching is, it's really looking at the resources they've been cited in the article that you found. So looking at the bibliography, looking, okay, what resources they used to write that article, because sometimes you can actually find a lot of relevant articles and they will be useful to you based on just one article. So there is a link to a guide that covers in details how to do the cited reference searching. You may have come across it, like if you're using Google Scholar, this will be cited by 143. So this is the information I'm talking about. You found information about the book or an article, and you can see who else cited this resource. And you can click on that and see the list of results. And often they're on the same topic or they're around the same topic. So you can sort of pick and choose information that way. In PropQuest, the database I just showed you here, see it's a cited by 2. Here, if we keep scrolling down, cited by 1. The fact that it's the number 1, just don't assume that, oh, it only been cited once, so that means it's not a good article. People didn't think it was worth it. That's not the case at all. Each database provider collects their own data. So you may find this article in this particular database was only cited once, but you will go to a Google Scholar and it was cited 120 times. So that's not always a true measure of how resources are used, but it's very useful. I find it actually very useful, especially if you're exploring very narrow topic that not much has been published on. Looking at those who's citing it will help you expand your research. And as you can see, there's a whole guide on how to do it. But again, if you are not too sure about it, I'll be more than happy to meet with you and go over information. So going back to our Omni search and these little arrows, if I actually click on it, these are all clickable. It will open up a list of results that listing source particular resource. So you can actually explore them. And because you're doing it through our system, if you want to get to the full text, you just have to click on available online, log in, and narrow it down that way. So instead of going out, trying to find the resource, and I'm going to click on finding sources, citing this one. So arrow pointing down is giving you the bibliography. Arrow pointing up is actually showing you who is using this, this particular article in the research moving forward. And again, 115 results, so you can scroll down. And often, you see, this is sort of, you can think of it in terms of a gift that keeps on giving, because then you come across another article and you have another arrow. So you got to keep, you can just keep exploring and see, oh, this is a good one and what they're citing. And you can just find a lot of relevant information just with one article. Even sometimes if somebody hands you a print copy of an article, always make sure to check the bibliography and see what resources are cited. And then you can start your research even that way. Whatever way works for you, whatever you're comfortable with. There's not really the right way to do research. This is the beauty of research, and you probably know at this time that there's many ways to find information, whatever works for you, depending on your subject area, and it's just a never-ending process, right? That you can sort of discover new things as you go. So I'm gonna go back to the library homepage one more time. Again, chat services here, and the guide that I showed you, I put a link in the chat again, but it's right here under course guide and just letter Q. And you're the only one here under Q, and the guide is here. Is that my contact information is here. Please feel free to reach out, ask questions. I'm more than happy to meet with you one-on-one, go over some of the information again, point you to contact to my colleagues who are expert in the subject area that you are exploring. And as I said, we're here to help. You're not alone, even that we can't really meet in person. We are here and we got your back. Do you guys have any questions? I'm going to stop sharing so it's a little bit easier to see. The link to the guide is here. Contact information. Okay.
This was an amazing presentation. Thank you so much. I've been to a presentation for library services before, and interestingly, I feel like I've learned more on this online presentation. And thank you so much for setting up the course. This is so helpful, a great guide.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So I'm also going to put my email for everybody in the chat box, and the link to the. I thought sort of putting the guide together will kind of help you guys. Just as I said, it's not the only place to find information, but I thought it'd be a good starting place. Eric, do you have a question? No, maybe not. Maybe just.
I think we can't necessarily hear you, Eric. If the connection is unstable and you have a question, please feel free to include it in the chat box too.
And please don't.
May I also ask a question?
Oh, yes.
Yes, this library resource is very good, and I'm happy that we have access to it. However, this will be stopped just at the end of the scholarship in 4 months. Is it possible we'll have this access to the library resource until we probably finish school or our final projects?
I think that's more question for Stephanie. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, at this point, the access to the library resources ends on the 15th of October. So we have an extra couple weeks after the end of the award period to wrap things up. I would suggest that you use this as much as possible and download as many articles as you possibly can to keep for later. If you have any specific requests, then please feel free to email me and we'll see.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Oh, the GIS. So there's a question about GIS. Let me just go back and share my screen here quickly. So if we go back to the library homepage, and there's GIS. So GIS is the geospatial data. So depending on your topic, if you need help, actually here's an email that you can reach out to my colleagues who look after GIS, so they can sort of provide and data that way for you to research. Sorry, I lost the chat question. Is the GIS question sort of so it just really, when you think of GIS, it's just another way of getting data, but it's the geospatial. So you have the map, and then you sort of put the data, the number data on top of the map to have a better visual explanation. But as I said, we have a GIS librarian on duty, and you can email them directly for any help. So there's a question from Godfrey. How do you email the books and journals? So emailing, you mean how I showed you how you can email yourself the information about the book, or you thinking of downloading?
Hello?
No?
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh.
So it seems maybe there's a lag between our connection and your connection, Godfrey.
Yes, there's a problem.
Yeah. but maybe it's okay now. So what is your specific question, Godfrey?
My question was, how do you email the selected books and journals for access later?
So, okay, let me just quickly go back to sharing because it's a little bit easier. And I had my, oops, sorry. So if you're doing searches through Omni, but any other system has an option where you can sort of, as I said, in this case, I mark the items, or if you want to just do one by one, you can go directly like that. You can click email and enter your email here, and it will send you the record about the particular item. Or you can just, if you have more than one, you may want to just group them and just mark a bunch of them like that into that favorite folder.
And this, Alexandra, this will email you the link to the article.
This
correct?
will email you the information about the article and the link to get to the full text. So then when you get your email, you have to click on the link and then follow through that link and get to the full text. It won't email you the actual full text. Unfortunately, the system is not smart enough to follow through. And part of the reason is because of that proxy login that you have to do, that you have to sort of authorize. So, and each, as I said, each database provider is a little bit different. Sometimes you can get to the PDF right away. Sometimes you have to dig a little bit more. So the email sends you the link, and then you have to follow through the link to get to the full text. It's a little bit of a two-step process, I guess. But if you're not too sure, like I said, each database is different and works differently. If you run into any troubles, you can always send me an email too, and I'll be more than happy to investigate to make sure that you can find full text.
Does anyone have any further questions? I have a bit of experience on the database as well, so you can also reach out to me if you're having some minor problems, but any larger questions should definitely go to one of the librarians or the
By all means, guys, we're here to help. Like the idea is that we're helping you, and so you don't actually have to waste time on trying to figure out the system rather than focus on your research, right? We're here to help. So if you find something is not working the way it should, or you're not too sure, please always reach out, and we're here to help. As I said, the library building is closed, but all my colleagues and I are working from home online and here to support you, to make sure you reach your goals. And this is not the only time to ask questions. So if something comes up later on, because I know I throw a lot of information at you, so there's a lot to process. So if something else comes up, as I said, always feel free to reach out. Like, we're here to help.
Thank you so much, Alexandra, for your time and for putting together this very helpful resource guide. I look forward to sharing it with the rest of my team as well.
Perfect. It was my pleasure meeting you guys. Good luck with everything and have a good rest of the day. Take care.
Okay, thank you. And thank you everyone for joining us.
Thank you very much, Alexander.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you,
For the
Stephanie.
presentation.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Goodbye, everyone. I look forward to seeing you again in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Bye.
You'll get so many emails from me.
Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
see you, Stephanie. Yes.
Okay. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, Stephanie.